Here's a featured clip from one of your favorite Podcast One shows.
I'm sitting in the room talking with JJ. Vince walks in. We hear all this stuff about Vince, like he's an evil genius and he's going to get in your mind and, figure out what you're thinking and all these stories that you hear about Vince. So we're sitting there, there's some small talk, of course. Everything's going well. And then Vince asked me, he's like, Glenn, have you ever been afraid to go to the dentist? And I think this is one of these things where he's like, I'm going through like a personality test or something. So, right? So I'm like, well, no, sir. And he's like, I've always had this idea for a wrestling dentist. Isaac Yankem. I yank him. And then he starts doing the Vince laugh, right? And yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at it, man, this individual in this business that I am trying to, like you said, to break into the big leagues. And I'm sitting at him and I just have, I guess, a blank face. I'm not trying not to react. And then he looks at me like, think you'll be great for it. And then he walks out. And I'm sitting there, man, and I went from like on top of the world to feeling like the world had just fallen on top of me. Because I'm like, a wrestling dentist? And then how am I going to pull this off? And I get home, man, I talked to Cornette. I'm like, man, I just don't know about this whole dentist thing. He's like, oh, it'll be fine. That's just his first thought. They'll come up with something cool. About 2 months later, I talked with Cornette, and by this time he's working with creative at WWE. He's like, here, the good news is you're going to be coming up real soon. The bad news is it's the dentist. And I'm just like, oh, man. But I'm just like you, it's what was I going to do? I mean, if I wanted to advance my career, basically I had to take the shot.
To hear more, click on the full show link in the Podcast One app or go to PodcastOneSports.com.